Hey guys, welcome to another video of my NFL picks of the 2022 NFL season. Today I will be doing the Week 7 games. Last week there was already teams on a bye, so this week there's going to be four more teams on a bye. Those teams are the Rams, the Eagles, the Vikings, and the Bills. Those are four really good teams. So that makes this Week 7 going to be a really interesting week. But let's get started. Thursday night football is between the Saints and the Cardinals. But I do think the Saints will win on the road and spoil the return of DeAndre Hopkins, who was suspended for the first 6 games. So I think the Saints win that one. Next up we have an AFC North divisional matchup between the Browns and the Ravens. Ravens have had a rough fourth quarter this year. They've blown 3 big leads in 3 big games. I do think they will get back in the win column at home and top the Browns. Next up, Bucks versus Panthers. In this NFC South matchup, Panthers going through a lot of stuff in their front office. I think the Bucks will get back into the win column and beating Carolina. So I think the Bucks will win that one. Next up, we have Bengals versus Falcons. Falcons with an impressive win last week. Bengals, a nice win last week too. I think the Bengals will win this one at home to win their second straight game. Next up is Lions Cowboys. I think Cowboys at home are really tough. Regardless, they're a tough team. Their defense is good, but now they're getting back their all-pro quarterback, Dak Prescott. I think the Cowboys will win that one and make his return memorable. Next up, Giants versus the Jaguars. Giants off to a really impressive 5-1 start, playing at Duval County in Jacksonville. I think the Jags actually caught on top of this one. Jaguars are a really interesting team this year, but they're way tougher at home. And I think the Giants will take a step back in this one, so I think the Jags beat the Giants. Next up, Colts versus Titans. These teams are already played each other once this year. This will be the last meeting of the season between these two teams. Titans beat the Colts in Indianapolis earlier this year by 7. I think the Titans will sweep the season series against them and beat them at home in the Music City. Next up, Packers versus Commanders. Packers are off to a rough start. They lost to the Jets last week at home. No one expected that to happen. Rodgers has been taking a beating lately this year. Their offense is not really moving the football. Their special teams have hurt them. They're going up against the Washington Commanders team that is young, is not that good this year, but they just did win against Chicago. So I think since they're so young, I think the Packers will win this one on the road in Washington due to the fact that the Packers have a good defense and the Commanders are starting Taylor Heineke at quarterback and because Wentz is hurt. So I think the Packers get back in the win column in a very low-scoring game. Next up, Jets versus Broncos. These teams are trending in 2 different directions. Broncos only won 2 games this year. They're trending in the wrong direction. They're at home versus the Jets, coming off of who's coming off a really impressive win at Lambeau Field. I think the Jets will continue to continue to win, keep their winning ways. I think the Jets will win this one, and go to 5-2 on the season. Next up, Raiders versus Texans. Texans only have 1 win. They're not a very good football team versus the Raiders, who made a big step 2 weeks ago against the Chiefs. Even though they lost that game, they played really well in that game. They all rested up coming off their bye week. I think the Raiders will win this one, get back in the win column. Next up, Seahawks for Chargers. Seahawks coming off an impressive win against the Cardinals at home. Now go on the road and face the Chargers. Chargers are a good team. Even though they barely beat Denver last week, it's all about finding a way to win this league. I think the Chargers will win again. Only to the fact that they're at home and that they could potentially be getting their star receiver back, Keenan Allen. So I think the Chargers win that one at home. Next up, you have America's Game of the Week, 325 game. Chiefs at 49ers. This is a rematch of the Super Bowl a couple years ago in Miami. I think the Chiefs are the better team. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo's probably the best quarterback the Niners have had in the last couple years and this year, but the 49ers are so inconsistent this year. They just lost by 14 to Atlanta, not a good team. So I think Chiefs will win this one on the road at Levi Stadium. Next up, Sunday Night Football. Kind of an A game. Doesn't really grab the eyes of a lot of people that aren't Steelers or Dolphins fans. But I think the Dolphins will win at home. One of their dangerous team at home. Behind their good defense, and there's a good chance they are getting Tua Tagovailoa back. So I think the Dolphins will win at home against a very inconsistent Steelers team. Next up, Monday Night Football, the final game of the Week 7 between the Bears and the Patriots. Bears are going to New England, which just makes it a whole lot more harder on them because New England is not an easy place to play. You have a really good coach, a future Hall of Famer, Bill Belichick, and then the Patriots defense who's playing unbelievable. Bailey Zappe's come onto the scene. Has won his first 2 starts of his career. I think it's all going to be all about that Patriots defense. If Patriots defense are able to shut down the Bears offense, then the Patriots defense will win. But I think the Patriots will ride on that defense and win at home against a very bad Bears team and offense nonetheless. So I think the Patriots win that one. And yeah, that's gonna wrap up week 7, my week 7 picks. Just let me know. You don't be afraid to type in the chat your picks for this week. And we'll see you guys next week for week 8. Have a good one.